did I go for a Crown Vic as my first car? Well, I see buying a car, you have three options. You can have one that's cool, you can have one that's affordable, and you can have one that's reliable. And you can only pick two of those three things to be in your car, to be, your car. So like with a Ferrari, it's not cheap, but it's very cool. It might not be reliable either. You can get like a Toyota Corolla or something. It's not cool, but it's cheap and like very reliable. So I believe the Crown Victoria is the closest thing you have to all three of those. It's pretty cool, depending on who you talk to. If you talk to somebody who doesn't like cops as much, then they might think it's a terrible car. But I personally think it's a really cool car. It's also very reliable. They're notoriously reliable. They can go for over 200,000 miles and keep on going after that. And they are decently cheap. The upfront cost of this, I paid $4,300. The only place where you do kind of get bitten is when it comes to maintenance, because I just replaced the spark plugs in this. Not all of them, but for all of them to be replaced, it would be $88 to do it myself, or somewhere in there. Whereas like with a 4-cylinder car or a 6-cylinder car, it would only be about $44 or $66. And that's just the spark plugs. Things like gasoline as well. Of course, it's a 4.6 liter V8. All the cylinders are active all the time, so gasoline is very, very expensive for this car. Like, it doesn't have great MPG. It actually has comparable MPG to my mom's truck, which is kind of funny when you think about it. It's also a very safe car, and I've talked about this before. Number one, it looks like a cop car, so everybody's going to be treating you courteously on the road. They're not going to cut you off. They're not going to, slam on the binders whenever they can, usually, of course. Everybody's going to stop at stop signs, and it's something that's very noticeable. You can't miss a Crown Victoria. They're a big car, and it looks like a cop car, and you want to, obey the laws as you can if you're around a Crown Victoria. Another point on safety is, since this is a big car, it's got a large crumple zone, so if you do get into a collision, you have a large crumple zone for the car to deaccelerate gradually, rather than, in something like a 1999 Sunfire, which is what I had before, you don't have much of a crumple zone. Also, the roof is very, very strong. Of course, if a police officer does roll their car, they want them to be as safe as they possibly can. Also, since it's a large car, you can fit lots in it. So if you want to take, 4 friends out to a, party or something, or 4 friends out to dinner or something, then you can do that. You have 5 seat belts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You also have a huge trunk, which I don't recommend putting people in, but you can put a lot of stuff in a trunk, in this trunk specifically. Also, since it has the same engine that comes from a Mustang, it's kind of sporty. I don't know what the word is. It's not sporty, it's not sluggish. It's kind of like driving a Rolls Royce almost. You wouldn't call a Rolls Royce sporty, but it's got a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque. I don't know how to explain it, but you've got the same engine as a Mustang, just a different body. So I mean, this car's basically a Mustang when you think about it. I think it's about the closest thing you can get to a muscle car without being a muscle car. Anyways, that's all. I thought I'd explain to you guys why I got myself a Crown Victoria instead of something like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla or something like that. I wanted something cool, cheap, and reliable. And I believe this is all three of those in like the best of all three worlds. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good one. And it does have the same engine as a Mustang. It's not by any means quick or fast or anything, but it's kind of fun to put your foot down. Of course, you'd never speed in this. You should never ever speed. You should never break the law, period, ever. Don't murder people. It's bad for your health.